estimate that you would be working with in terms of, you're talking about a 32% growth in 2023. What could be the growth in 2024, according to you?
Again, as I mentioned, that we, from the start of the year throughout the first quarter, have been seeing double-digit strong RevPAR demand growth, and we expect this will continue. Unfortunately, being a public company, I'm not able to give you specific numbers, but I do, strongly believe that we will register double-digit growth across the country. And again, when you think about not only performance, but also in terms of number of hotels that we are opening across the country, this year we are going to, in the next 2 months, basically in May, open our 150th hotel on the footsteps of Vaishno Devi, Katra Marriott Hotel and Resort. We are adding a total of 12 new hotels across the country this year. We have a pipeline of 80 hotels in India today, on top of the 150 that we would be operating by next month. We signed a stunning JW Marriott Resort and Spa in Alibag, just 10 minutes from, Mumbai Gateway. A destination resort that'll not only have facilities which will include great convention areas and villas and resort facilities, but also a ranch-style concept with horse riding and other recreational facilities. So as a company, we have been very focused on these resort destinations. In fact, I'm speaking to you right now from JW Marriott Gulfshire, which is one of the most stunning golf resorts in India. And these kind of destinations are gathering incredible amount of demand. And we genuinely believe that this will continue to grow as leisure demand continues to grow in India.
Right. So very bullish on India in terms of expansion. You're saying the 150th hotel will be opened in Vaishno Devi very soon. You've got a pipeline of 80 hotels. So in terms of total expansion in the India market, what will be the overall figure for 2024, and how many are you going to open in just the next 2 months?
So by the end of 24, we will have 160 operating hotels in India. We, as I just mentioned, on our pipeline, and I expect in the next 5 years, Marriott would have 250 operating hotels across the country with about 50,000 rooms across India. And as you know, today we are across 40 cities. We continue to grow aggressively in secondary and tertiary markets because we genuinely see that space as another area of opportunity apart from Tier 1 cities and also leisure destinations, given the opening of the Katra Marriott Resort.
Right. Do you also feel that there is some sort of saturation in top metros and Tier 1 cities, and it's time to focus on Tier 2 and Tier 3? Is there enough demand?
I think there's demand across the board. When you think about, what India has today in terms of total branded hotel inventory of around 180,000 rooms, which by 2030 would be headed more towards 300,000 rooms. And you compare this to China or Dubai or US and other mature markets, it pales in significance. And given the incredible growth India is experiencing, the economic shift that India will experience from being the 5th largest economy to the 3rd largest economy in the next 5 years, we think there is some amazing potential as people acquire wealth, as they become more aspirational from a travel point of view. In 2019, 2.3 billion trips were taken across the country, which will go to 5 billion in the next 5 years. And that's how we see demand growing across all destinations, not just Tier 1, but Tier 2 and tertiary markets as well. So I think there is opportunity in all areas, including Tier 1, for more growth.
Right. Now, in terms of the segments that you're present in, luxury, premium, select, or maybe the affordable segment, which is the segment which is really driving the highest revenues for you and seeing the highest demand?
In terms of our signings, Parikshit, just from last January 23 through end of first quarter this year, we have signed more than 5,000 rooms across South Asia, and bulk of it being in India. And in this case, 77% of our signings are actually in the luxury and premium space, with 50%, more than 50% actually driven by luxury signings. And this has shifted. If you looked at pre-COVID, given our growth in secondary, tertiary markets, we were experiencing, signings with Courtyard by Marriott, Fairfield by Marriott, and other upscale brands, which has now shifted as more leisure destinations start to open up. Just a few weeks ago, we signed a stunning Ritz-Carlton in Jaipur, spread over 43 acres of land, which is going to be a destination resort. I just talked about signing of the JW Marriott Resort and Spa in Alibag, 10 minutes from Mumbai. So we're seeing a lot of these destination resort opportunities come up across the country as the government invests in infrastructure. Accessibility gets better. People are willing to travel more and more. There's a real opportunity for growth. So you will see Marriott opening hotels from a JW Marriott in Belgaum to a Ritz-Carlton in Shimla to hotels in Ranthambore, and we've talked about some of the other destinations across the country as well.
Right. So you said you have a pipeline of about 80 hotels. Where would these hotels really come up? You mentioned some of the destinations such as Shimla, Vaishno Devi. Could you tell us about some of the other areas you want to focus on?
So Marriott has been very bullish on religious pilgrimage destinations as well. We have signed Marriott hotels last year in Ayodhya. We have a number of hotels in Amritsar. We have hotels near Shirdi in Nashik. I just talked about Katra as an example. We are working on other opportunities as well. Religious tourism, tertiary markets, secondary markets, gateway cities, and then more importantly, leisure destinations, resort locations. I genuinely see great opportunity in these areas for growth as the broader community travels across the country. And we've seen this thanks to COVID. COVID has reaffirmed the power of travel, and we are seeing that more and more Indians are willing to get out and experience their own country. And that's what's driving demand across the board.
Right. My final set of questions now, Rajeev. In terms of the global importance of India, when it comes to your global markets and revenues, where does India really figure in terms of the profits coming in, the revenues coming in?
So Parikshit, given Marriott today is the largest hotel company in the world with over 8,500 hotels around the world in around 140 countries, India's contribution is relatively small. However, the growth is one of the best in the world. So we expect in the next few years, India will become our third largest market after US and China, given the growth that we're experiencing here. And when you think about the next few decades, I dare say India would be one of the key contributors to Marriott.
Right.
In the long run.
In terms of the capex plan, you're talking about 300,000 rooms in India by 2030. What kind of a capex would that require? Any ballpark figure that you can give us in terms of deploying those funds for the Indian region?
Now, please keep in mind the 300,000 rooms I talked about that were broadly across the industry. For us, today we operate over 28,000 rooms. This will go to over 50,000 rooms in the next 5 years. And, we continue to be very aggressive in terms of working with our partners. But as a management company, our focus is working with some of our big partners who end up developing these assets in various destinations.
Right. Rajeev, wonderful talking to you. You're extremely bullish on India, telling us about the growth trajectory for Marriott from 28,000 to 50,000 rooms by the end of 2030. Thanks once again for being with us and giving us your view on how you see growth in the hospitality sector.
Thanks so much, Parikshit. It's a pleasure.
Corporation. Mark, thank you very much for joining us here on CNBC TV18. Let me begin by asking you about the year gone by for Hyatt. One of the big highlights was selling of $2 billion